Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Racy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Here.
Councilman Miller,
Present.
Councilman Webster,
Here.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Here.
Councilman Wagner,
Here.
present. City Council candidate interviews to fill the unexpired term of John P. Racy in Ward 2 until November 9th, 2020. First interviewee is Milton French.
You're gonna move the other ones out?
That's what she's going to do.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming out tonight. We're going to start this right away because we've got a limited time. What I'm going to do, we've got some different questions, and we're going to go for about 10, 15 minutes for interviews, and just going to have our council going to ask different questions, and I'm just going to rotate through and have you answer some questions. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Tony, could you ask the first question, please?
Are you asking me, Councilman?
Yes.
Thank you. My first question I'd like to ask you is, what do you take into consideration in your decision-making?
I consider myself to be very thorough. I like to look at all the facts. Don't want to rush into a decision. I think, and I'll think we should be very informed, have all the information that we can. Especially like to consult other people, other resources. Don't go just on my own ability and knowledge. I like to gather information from any reliable source that there is.
Thank you.
Everybody sees their questions that we have out here? Phil, do you want to ask the next question, please?
Sure. What ideas do you have to move the city forward?
I have a lot of ideas. In addition to specific things to help the financial state, I'm a firm believer that there should be open communication between the city government and all the residents and businesses. Also, I'm a firm believer that people should be plugged in and involved just as much as possible. When people are plugged in and involved, then they're more involved in the community. They will support it more. So one of the things I would like to see is a lot of activities to cater to all interests. Also, I'd like to see better communication from the city as to what events are taking place. Like, for example, last Saturday with the Christmas tree lighting, I knew it was taking place. It took me some work to find it. I found it on the City of Wayne Administration Facebook page. I know some groups have email notifications. And you can be text. There's other ways to be notified, but communication's key, and to be involved with the city activities is key.
You good?
Thank you for coming before us this evening, Mr. French, and showing your interest in this position. I'd like to ask you, what expertise or experience do you bring to council that would enhance the council's ability to see a different and/or a more positive perspective?
I've been involved with the Healthy Wayne and the Wayne Bicycle Club. Those are very worthwhile activities, especially I support Healthy Wayne and their initiative to improve the health of this city. And also I have a lot of experience with budgeting. That's very important considering the financial state of the city. Have a strategy with budgeting, you place more priority on items that have a higher monetary value. For example, look more closely at something that's $3 million versus something that's $3,000. So prioritize. Also have an open mind. Don't have yourself in a box, but think the big picture and explore all avenues.
Okay.
Okay. Jeremiah?
Thank you for coming out tonight. What do you think is going well right now in Wayne?
Well, we have a new council members. I think they're well received by the city now. The city is optimistic. The financial picture of the city is improving. And I think it will continue to improve. I think we have momentum started to move forward. I have a lot of ideas that I'd like to see explored at least. Also, the property values are depressed from the recession. They're restricted from coming back due to state regulations about property tax rates. So there's a window of opportunity. The economy is doing real well. Property values are low, so people have more resources to invest in the city.
Mr. French, if elected, how would you make yourself available to the citizens for questions and concerns?
Well, utilize social media, websites. People can contact me directly. Any way that'll work. Utilize the internet, social media. I especially would like to meet the people of the city of Wayne, find out what they think. Since I've been here a little over 10 years, nobody has ever asked me what I think of the city, how it could be improved. So I would like to change that. I'd like to meet with the many residents and businesses of the city, find out what their concerns are, what their priorities are, and work to address those.
Okay. Hi, Moulton again. In your opinion, what qualifies you to be appointed to this position? And then in addition, how would you describe your role? How would you describe the role of a council member?
Well, I've been here over 10 years. I've been active. I went to the financial seminars that they had at HYPE. I attend some of the council meetings. Also keep track of the city agendas and what happens at all the meetings. Also am involved in the various activities in the city, such as Wayne Main Street, the Wayne Bicycle Club, the Healthy Wayne. I also think that the activities that they have to improve the natural environment, I'm very much in favor of that. In April, they have the city cleanup. That was well attended. And also the Friends of the Rouge have a cleanup in May and June, and I also always participate in that.
Okay.
I looked at the budget, you get a good idea what I think, how the city could improve its financial conditions.
Okay. What do you think the role of a council member is in the city?
They make the decision making.
Okay.
And they approve businesses, zoning.
Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to just share, that you haven't talked about yet to us tonight? About why you want to be on a councilman, anything like that?
I think it's really sad to see how the city has been struggling, especially financially. Really would like to see that taken care of. Also, I'm partial to health and wellness and nature. I would like to see more of those kinds of activities. I've participated in the Healthy Waynes almost since I found out about it the second month it met. So I would really like to see the Wayne known as a city where the citizens really take care of their health, and that's a big priority. We have the Lower Rouge 4-mile section from Canton to Westland. What we have right now is the Washington Trail and the Mill Trail and Dynamite Park, but most of it's undeveloped. So I've been pushing hard to see that become a really viable resource for the city.
Okay.
Both the non-motorized trail and the waterway. That would be a big part of it.
And what kind of things have you done to push that so far? When you're saying you've been pushing that, what does that mean?
I've been in the Healthy Wayne and the Built Environment Group. They have different goals. That was the goal, and that's the one I've been pushing with.
Okay.
I met with Wayne County Parks, found Elizabeth Isler is what's her title? She's responsible for development of the Parks and Recreation. So we had a meeting with Elizabeth and it was Lori, not Gouen, but her previous name.
Okay.
And then Elizabeth came and gave a presentation at the Healthy Wayne. So that was a big step. Well, one of the Wayne County Parks, their vision of is to have a paved trail, which costs a lot of money. But my opinion is that something's better than nothing. I would like to see a foot trail. We could do that a lot faster and quicker. That would get the citizens involved in that, help to get them on board.
Okay. Does any other council members have any other questions?
Mayor Racy, I do.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you is, what can you draw from your personal experience, your livelihood, your profession, that would be an asset for this community council?
I was thinking about that. When I was 7, I went on this picnic. I was floating on an inner tube in a lake. I had been on the inner tube for quite a while. I was getting uncomfortable, so I tried to shift my position, and I fell off the inner tube. I was drowning, and everybody was watching me drown, standing on the shore. But my Uncle Elmer, he saw me. He had on all his clothes, but he didn't matter. There was a hill. He ran down the hill, ran to the edge of the dock, jumped in the water, had me out in seconds. If it wasn't for him, I might have drowned. So I had a choice to make. There's 2 solutions. One, you can say, well, I'll never have anything to do with the water again. That'll solve the problem of drowning. Or I could learn to swim. So what do you think happened? At the age of 9, 2 years later, I took swimming lessons and learned to swim. I've been swimming ever since. So that's when problems come, we can't run from them. We need to face them head on, do whatever it takes to solve them.
Thank you. Good analogy.
Okay, thank you. Sure, you just have to make it work. We're at time, so
Okay.
this is the last question.
All right, Mr. French, I'm sorry. It's just a follow-up question in the question I asked you earlier in your answer. You said that you wanted to have the opportunity to meet people in the community. What kind of ideas do you have to do that? Like, what would you facilitate in order to be able to get out and meet the people?
Well, I'd have to research it more, but from what I've thought about it, I think regular meetings is a very good way. I found those to be very helpful. And it's possibly could send out literature and say, introduce yourself, say, I'm Milton French, and I would like to find out what your concerns are, the city, what your ideas are to move the city forward. You can go door to door, utilize social media.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Milton. We're going to be making a decision at the 8 o'clock meeting. We're going to do all the interviews tonight, so you are free to go. Thank you for coming out tonight.
So you want me to,
Yep, we're going to have the next person come in next.
well, when you did this before, well, the other people were interviewing, they didn't want the interview.
You can stay now because you've already been interviewed. So if you want to sit in the audience, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, Mr. French. Thank you for.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Once,
Done it now, so. I don't know. I don't think it.
Yeah, sure.
Do whatever you want.
Thank you. I'm good.
I just wanted to put Keith in. Thank you. And just for the council, we need to try to ask the same question to everybody, so ask the same questions you've asked in the past. Thanks.
Next interviewee is Keith Butkovich.
Hi, Keith.
Hello, Mayor. I'm not used to saying that.
Yeah, I'm not used to it either yet. so. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you taking the time to have interest in being a council person. We're going to get right into it because we're short on time. So we're going to have each council person ask a question of you. Then I'm going to ask you, what is it that if you have anything else that you'd like to add, if we have time, we'll add a couple more questions. Okay?
Okay.
So, Phil, would you want to start us off?
What ideas do you have to move the city forward?
Well, I mean, I know we still have big issues, our financial thing, which, you know, we've been working on for a while, but I think we still have a ways to go. I think we all know that. I think we need to bring and involve younger people. I'm one of the younger people here. I've lived here for a long time, 11 years. I've owned a house here, but I still think we need to have more ideas to have more younger people here. I think it's more into businesses and to bring people and encourage business growth. We're doing that to a degree, but we still have these empty buildings that we need filled, and I think we can go and try to help to reach out to prospective business owners or owners that are looking to expand to, hey, let's come to Wayne. These are the reasons why it's great, and there's great people here, and you'll do well here.
thank you for coming in, Mr. Butkovich. Appreciate your interest in the seat on council. What expertise or experience do you bring to council that will change the council's ability to see a different and/or positive perspective?
Well, I've never been on a council, so I don't have that. I was on the 2020 committee many moons ago. I don't even remember how many years ago that was. Toward the end of it, unfortunately, that disbanded. Just not government related. I think that again, me being one of the younger people, I have a lot of, some friends that are younger. I have friends that are older too. I think there's nothing wrong with older, but I know a lot of younger people too, and I think
Nice catch.
I don't discriminate by age, but You know, there's, because younger people, you know, we're the ones that are going to be taking over this city and moving in at some point. So it's very important to get that perspective. Um, but just in my job, I do some management of a department of about 6 people now. So I have that, you know, running a department, making sure things run smooth, and making sure all the people there get along with each other and get their work done. That's very important. And I feel that I do a good job at that. I've heard from management above me that my people who work with me support me, they like me, they respect me. So I feel I have that too. So a combination of, I think, being good with in my role of business and talking to the younger people, some of the future of our community. I feel that's what I could bring.
Okay, thank you.
Jeremiah?
Thank you for coming out tonight. So what do you think is going well in Wayne right now?
Well, I do like some of the businesses that are coming in. That's always a good point. Some spaces like Planet Fitness, that building that was vacant for many years. The spot with the Save a Lot and I remember it was the thrift store. That seems to be doing well. I'm glad that's been working. Cadillac Apartments no longer being gone. That's a good thing. I don't have to look at that driving by. That's always nice. Since I work in Dearborn, so I drive down that section of Michigan every day. So that's going well. It seems like with the budgeting, we seem to be getting more in line. We don't have quite the issue. There's still issues there, but I feel that we're going in the right direction. So that's a good thing to see. And clubs that have just started up, like stuff like the bicycle club, people bicycling around, which I don't bicycle, but I'm glad that people do. They seem to enjoy it for exercise and social. So I think the good strength of the community too, that we have a lot of good people who live here and want to make the community better. So yeah, there's a lot going on in Wayne, a lot of good things.
Kelly?
Mr. Bukovich, if elected, how would you make yourself available to the citizens for questions and concerns?
My phone number would be, I'd readily give that out, phone or text. A lot of people text these days. Email, I'm not a huge social media guy, but I would have to do that. I have my own, personal, but yes, I would have like social media, or even if somebody wants to come to the house, I mean, if I'm home, you have to, being a council person, I think you have to make yourself available to everybody who lives in the city and also business owners and so forth. So, I mean, go ahead and, contact me, and I'm good at getting back with people, even if I'm out of town or whatever. I try to get back to people in a timely manner because they took their time to contact me. They obviously have a concern or a question or whatever, so I feel that's my duty. Or something similar to what Councilman Porter has, his community page, I think works very well, and a lot of people there ask questions, and there's some feedback going on, mostly positive. There's, obviously with anything, there's a couple issues, but I think something like that seems to be working very well, and I believe it's very helpful because residents are getting answers in a timely manner.
Okay, Tony?
Thank you. Thanks, Keith, for coming in tonight.
No problem.
First of all, what do you take into consideration in your decision-making process?
Well, partially life experience. I've lived in Wayne for a while, but I don't come from Wayne. I come from mostly Royal Oak and then Madison Heights, so the east side of the metro area. So I've seen cities, especially Royal Oak, that when my parents bought the house in the 80s was not at the time not the place a lot of people wanted to go to. It was not doing well. The 90s changed that. Royal Oak is built up, and downtown and the lofts and all that's down there even after we moved out. And then listening to and taking into consideration what other council people may have and the residents. I think the residents are a critical part of this situation because they may have ideas coming from their different backgrounds that we may not even think of. And then, so weighing all that in and then thinking, okay, does this make sense? And I'm not afraid to ask questions if I don't understand something. As I've done many times at council here, going to the meetings for about the past decade or so. And even if I vote against something and it turns out I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit, hey, I was wrong on this. I didn't think this would work, and it turns out it did. But going along with, while having my own personal beliefs, going along with whatever council agrees to. I mean, that's part of the job. I'm here to serve. I mean, I would be for Ward 2 because that's where I live, but because we all vote for those positions, I would also, serve the whole city, as well as business owners and anybody else, even people, visitors who come in. I feel like I have serve them too. They're spending time in our city and money, hopefully, so that's how I feel.
Thank you.
Okay. In your opinion, what qualifies you to be appointed to the position?
Again, I've lived here for a while, 11 years. I've gone to many council meetings. Those who have been here a long time have seen my face a lot. Whether they want to or not, I don't know. But I'm in it. So I'm obviously interested in the process, interested in government. So I feel I have that. I know how the meetings run. I've seen the process, know what's in order, what's not in order. I'm not an expert on Roberts. I know a little bit about it. So I feel there could be the order and cohesiveness of the meetings. Again, I believe that citizens' comments are very important, so I wouldn't want to see those limited. That section where the citizens can speak is very important, and I would allow that even if a citizen doesn't agree with me, that they have the right to speak in those 3 minutes, and I would feel wrong to limit them. They should have their time. I just feel that, and understanding the process and being a creative thinker, thinking outside the box at times, willing to listen to all ideas. So I feel I bring a lot to council.
Okay, and then I got a second part of it. In addition, how would you describe the role of a council member?
Well, City of Wayne, as people know, it's not a full-time position as in pay. You don't get rich off this position. Sure, we all know that. But while you are there to make decisions for the community, along with the other council people, you're also an ambassador to the community, I feel. Your name is out there when they go to the city page. The council people, the mayor, and the department heads are there. So you are an ambassador of the city. I feel that when I'm outside of the city, and I do this already as a private citizen, I tell people, hey, we should come to Wayne and do this, go out here, or have an event here, or go to this store. I feel that's my role just as a citizen, even now, and even if I'm not appointed, I would still do that. And anyone I know that may be trying to start a business, hey, why don't you look at Wayne? What are you looking for? Whether it's a small business, large business, whatever. It doesn't always work, but at least throwing it out there, because a lot of people don't know where Wayne is. When I moved here, my mother had no idea. It's Wayne. We know it around here, but a lot of people outside the metro area don't know, or they think it's Wayne County, which of course is different. So I feel I can bring that. This is where Wayne is. This is what it's about. So I feel I can do that.
Okay. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to tell us that you haven't already told us?
I appreciate being considered for this opportunity. Regardless of what happens, I'm still going to be active. I'm still going to, be observant of what's going on, and and see that hopefully for the positive change that has been happening in directions, and hope that continues.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question? We have time for like one or two, maybe. We have to be quick. Anybody else?
I have one question.
Okay.
Mayor Racy. Can you name the top 3 priorities you would like to see improvements made in our community?
Oh, anytime I hear a
Just top 3.
so many that,
Yep.
not necessarily in order. I think to increase the population, to get the business vacancies filled, and the home vacancies filled with owners. I mean, there's good renters too, so there's nothing wrong with renting if that's what you wish to do, but also good owners. Oh, and good landlords, of course. But that, and have a stable financial situation, continue that. I don't know if that's considered 2 or 3, because business and residents. And more community involvement with the residents, getting out there and helping out the city, volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. That concludes the interview. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but thank you for coming out tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next interviewee is Kevin Dowd.
Evening.
Evening. Thanks for coming out tonight, Kevin. Hi there. Hi. We're going to get right into it. We're going to just go back and forth asking some different questions. Everybody's going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to have you talk whatever we didn't cover, and then if we have time, we'll ask you maybe one or two more. So,
Okay.
okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight, Mr. Dowd, showing interest in this position. What expertise or experience do you bring to council that will enhance the council's ability to see a different and/or a more positive perspective?
That's a good question. Thank you. I have been involved in nonprofit for several years, almost 2 decades now, both as an executive, I ran the club, and as a committee person, as treasurer. So familiar with running things in a process and by bylaws and in accordance with a vote. I'm also pretty familiar with the role of council as it sits now. And I personally have a positive outlook. My business ethic is to be positive and optimistic throughout all my decisions, both personally and professionally. I've also been in the career for quite a long time with pretty extensive success rate and been promoted on several levels in several manners through rank and file management.
Thank you.
Jeremiah.
Thank you for coming out tonight. So what do you think is going well in Wayne right now?
Great question. I think a lot's going on. I mean, obviously the headline Ford, the commitment that Ford is doing, I think is fantastic, and we really need to capitalize on that. I love the city. I chose to come back to the city and live here. I enjoy the community. I enjoy how people are coming together and making a grassroots difference from an aspect of the Parks Committee, the downtown district itself, Main Street, all these things that we can kind of launch from. I certainly enjoy going to a movie at the State Wayne above and beyond anywhere else. And I personally enjoy where we are with our businesses and where we can grow from on that. Lastly, I would say is the citizens and the people.
Okay, Kelly.
Mr. Dowd, I just realized I've been asking kind of a funny question. I've been asking if elected. This is not an elected position, so I apologize to the other candidates tonight. If chosen, how would you make yourself available to the citizens for questions and concerns?
That's a good question. I think first of all, I think in person is I think the most important way. Nothing is more effective than making yourself personally available, be it at the meetings or at an event or after a meeting, before a meeting, or my address is public, so it's not against somebody coming to see me or asking me to go see them. Secondly, I think social media, I think you have to be smart-minded and accurate in your what you say. Social media is another, certainly is a way that's growing. Just has to be done in a positive, constructive manner, and via phone and email. I think that covers all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Tony?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dowd, for reapplying for the position, first of all. My question is, what do you take into consideration in your decision-making process?
I'm analytical by nature. In analyzing the facts is important. Validating the facts is important. Asking questions is important. Doing your homework. I am a quiet person by nature, but in the right arena, I ask my questions to make my own solutions and my own answers. And going to the right sources is important. And validating beyond that is important. Also, in the arena of council, citizen feedback and information is equally important as the facts as they're laid in front of us.
Thank you.
Bill?
My question is, what ideas do you have to move the city forward?
It's a very large question. I think that we've got to, first of all, capitalize on the momentum of new council. I think that we need to collectively come up with a goal, a plan, a roadmap and a goal, and inspect that goal and be honest within the goals and the map itself. I think one of the most important things is to say something doesn't work, acknowledge it and move on, try something new. I think it's important to capitalize on the Ford investment now, market it that way. Nothing is more powerful than a $1 million tidal wave that's right in our backyard. And I think that we need to keep moving and embracing and supporting things like the Parks Commission, the Silver Committee, and capitalize on that and make a large cooperation between citizens, management, and council. I think that it's equally important to work to develop, with new council, work to develop a cohesive trust level between management, personnel in the office, and council in regular meetings so that all parties can be heard and talked to and listened and understood. I think that'll cover it for now.
Thank you.
Okay. I got a two-part question for you. In your opinion, what qualifies you to be appointed to the position?
That's the first part, right?
That's the first part.
I have some experience with council. Furthermore, I think my experience with my management experience, my labor relations experience when I was with Ryder, dealing with unions, human resource experience, running a company that was in charge of hiring people and cooperating with people and training people. And then lastly, what I have now for the last 10 years, 15, 12 years of my experience in procurement, I analyze contracts with one eye. So.
Okay. And then in addition, how would you describe the role of a council member?
It's a business person. It's a human relations and an advocate for the company, which is the city. The city itself is a business, and it's also a heartbeat that the personnel, which are the citizens, invest into the city, and they're very passionate about it. And the job is just to translate consequences into reason and action. And my experience has been, you know, you have to look at all the details, and sometimes you have to take and make a hard decision and live with it and move on and accept that. And then sometimes you have to say no.
Okay. What are, is there other things that you'd like to let us know about you that we haven't covered tonight?
No, not other than the fact that I choose to live in Wayne, and I choose to be involved at this level because just where I am in my career in life. My aspirations are only to be involved in Wayne. I'm sure if anybody listened to my last interview, you know that I enjoyed a Cobb Pharmacy malt and got my bike fixed at Wild Bill's and mowed the lawn of the Knights of Columbus here. So that's it.
Okay. Anybody else have a question that they'd like to ask for Kevin?
Mayor Racy, I do.
Okay.
Name top 3 priorities you would like to see change in our community.
Top 3, excuse me.
Top 3 priorities you would like to see change in our community.
Top 3 priorities that need to change in our community.
That you would like to see change in our community.
It's an interesting question. I think that we need to look at our business plan or our ordinances and our charter and make sure that we're in line with the next generation. I think we, in turn, need to look to make sure that we're planning for the next generation to be involved in council and city and management. And lastly, I would say that we need to look at the infrastructure to make sure that we're planning to support a long-term situation and not let our short-sighted money issues hinder our long-term plan.
Thank you.
I think that was 3.
Anybody else? Okay, well, that concludes our interview. Thank you for coming out here tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
We're going to make our decision
Thank you.
at the 8 o'clock meeting.
We do
We go ahead and move the agenda?
citizens' comments or requests on items not on the agenda.
Let's go back in a round.
Okay. Seeing none, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Who seconded?